Here, if I'm the first person to say this, but us Somalis are not black.
If you say so. If you say so. I'm just gonna be a nice American and warn you.
I don't care who said first, but we are not black. We are Somalis, we are not black. I don't know how to explain you guys this. This is like 5 years we are fighting about this topic. Let's change it, come on guys. We are not black. Me and all of my countrymen, we are not black.
So Somalians are trying to drag black Americans into their fight. Check this out.
But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denationalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is blasted by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, black Americans from the South, Hmong.
That was a call for allyship, and they threw the race card out there. We're all black. What happened to I'm not black, I'm Somalian? And what happened to the call of allyship when y'all was scamming Minnesota out of hundreds of millions of dollars? They only pull out the race card when it's beneficial to them, because before this, they'll tell you, you're jealous because Somalians are driving Priuses. And there's no allyship when they taking advantage of all these government assistance programs.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Now, most of the people in the US have long trashed whatever the black community has been fighting for all this time. The black community has been fighting for justice. They have been asking the US government to be considerate enough to treat every citizen equally. But no one ever dared to give them support while doing that. Today, the black community is silent when Somalis are being deported. And the Somalis feel like it is the black responsibility. And they feel so much entitled that the black community should come in hand and help them. Let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
I need one reason why Somalians, they say they are not blacks. I have a lot of friends that are Somalian. I love their women. But the Somalians that I know are nice people, amazing. But I want y'all to give me one reason why you guys say you are not blacks. You are Somali or Somalians. Us as Africans, as blacks, we want to know that reason. Because it seems like some of you Somalians are getting out of hands. So we need to know. Nothing's alive, not joke.
HUD, public housing, they're not going to let you in their building that they're in. And these are the same people that will tell you, if you black American Somalians will say, hey, my people came over here in planes and your people came over here in shackles and chains. Keep that same energy. I respect that. Since me and my peoples came over here in shackle and chains in a ship, I'm porting my ship right here. This is where I'm going to port my ship. Don't use black as a race card. Don't use black when it's beneficial. Keep that same energy. You not black, you Somalians. You not black, you Nigerians. Keep that same energy. Because when it's time to benefit off these government programs, like housing, all that stuff, they lock other people out. They don't care about nobody else but their own people. So why you yelling allyship now?
And now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at, I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care.
Somalis are not black. There's a difference between African and black. Let me ask you a question. Are Moroccans and Egyptians black? Tradition, our history, our culture are so much more different compared to these other countries that are actually black. Josh Bill, if you're not black, what are you? I'm Somali. Let me ask you a question. If you were to see a very dark Indian man, would he be identified as a black person or just an Indian?
I'm saying no hate to the creator, but I'm black, but you're blacker than me. I'm not sure where the confusion came from, where some Somalis believe that they're not black. And let's address the fact that you compared a few North African nations to being African but not being black. I don't want to feel like a teacher to you. I want you to do a task. I'm going to say just do your history research about how the modern North Africans became to be who they are in Africa today. I don't know if you know your history too well, but don't you know that East Africa, probably Ethiopia, I believe are one of the most oldest African black nations. I say that to say this, bro. You're black. There's just going to be different types of black in Africa, from West Africa to East Africa to South Africa and some in North Africa as well. For example, look at me. I'm West African, black, Cameroon, with blonde hair. light skin, big lips, big nose, white eyes. We're all in the same team fighting the same battle, bro. We got jollof rice and plantains. You have banana and rice. A bit different, but still in the same kind of family, right? I'm gonna lie, I didn't have to add that last part there. I felt like it was gonna be kind of funny. Follow me, guys.
Comments of Donald Trump about Somali immigrants.
This is why I'm convinced that sometimes when they say y'all need to stay up out of black people's business, they're not wrong. I would like for you to please change your caption. You're talking about, you said that you caption your post with now ICE is detaining black people. Okay? So I have a couple problems with it because Black Americans identify as being black racially and ethnically and culturally. We're black all the way through. And a lot of black immigrants, they don't identify as being black when they get here. You will never catch them telling you, hey, I'm just black. No, they say, oh no, I'm Nigerian. Oh no, I'm Ghanaian. Oh no, I'm just Somalian. When you ask them that kind of stuff, black people, Americans are the only ones that say, oh no, I'm black. Yeah. Now, the only time they seem to identify is with or, as being a black person is when they will benefit from such situations like this right here. People hear, oh, they're profiling black people. And everybody's like, oh, okay, well, it must be black people. They only identify to be black when it's convenient for them to get a benefit from it. Okay. Any other time, oh, I'm Somalian, oh, I'm Nigerian, oh, I'm Ghanaian, oh, I'm from, wherever. That is the biggest problem I'm having with this, because you're trying to say black people are being detained by ICE. No, the fuck we are not. It's Somalis that are being detained by ICE. And let me tell you, these same Somalis that you're trying to label as black people have already told not only black Americans, but every other African country and African person in the black diaspora that they are not black. They are insulted to be called black. These same Somalis you can find in any given diaspora war on this app or any other place saying they are not black. Don't even call them black. They don't even want to be identified that way. The only reason they're accepting to be called black in any kind of news article or any kind of, thing right now is because they're getting support and they want help. I think it's an insult to my people as black Americans for you to even try to call them black. They've already said they're not black. It's an insult to us as a black Americans because we are the real black people. And these same Somali people has made it known that they don't want to be associated with black people because they obviously have a superiority complex and they feel like they're better. And if you don't believe me, ask any African from any other place in the world, on the continent, they will tell you Somalis look down on black people. They don't want to be considered black, okay? And that is my first, second, and third problem that I'm having with your caption and talking about they are detaining black people. No, they are detaining Somalis, honey. And while that is a very unfortunate situation, and while the president did say some very disparaging things about them, that's not right. However, please don't categorize them as us, period, at all. Don't expect the black American community to come out and start supporting them either, because they have a derogatory slur, just like some racist white people have derogatory language for black people. These same Somalis have the same kind of word in their language for us black people. They call us a certain word. I'm not going to mention the word, but they do. So we're not supporting their asses. They say they're not black. So whoever they identify with, they need to call them for support, because as far as me and my people, leave us out of the equation.
Why did I see a tweet today talking about the fact that Trump is targeting Somali people in Minnesota is going to put black Americans at risk? I don't think so. I think that black Americans and Somali people don't look anything alike, first of all. Second of all, they don't even consider themselves black.
We are Somalis, not black. There, I said it.
Somalis are not black. Let me explain why. Looking at me right now, chat, am I black? I'm literally brown. I'm literally brown, bro. Think about it as well. Somalis are Arabs. We're in the Arab leagues. We speak the Arab language. We eat the Arab food. Bro, think about it like this, bro. If a whole community doesn't regard themselves as black, we can't be black, bro.
Somalis are not black. Now, before you disagree with me, I just want to say, listen, right? There's no such thing as the term black. The term black only came about in colonization. I don't have to accept that, sahib. That's why the other day when I was in place, someone said to me, "Are you black?" I said, "I'm not black, sahib. I don't accept that term."
Somalis are not black. There's a difference between African and black.
You think that a person, any person, can't tell the difference between a black American and a Somali person? I don't think so. I think that you can tell the difference between a Somali person and a black American person. Like, I really do. And I'm just saying.
A woman gets murdered, and then I'm getting comments like this about Somalis not being black. What race are you then? Are you white? Are you going to put yourself in the white category? Or are you going to put yourself in the Native American category? Are you going to put yourself in the Asian category? Like tell me. Because we don't, in America, yes, race is a social construct. But at the end of the day, when you do paperwork, which check mark, which racial category are you checking? I bet some of y'all are checking the other category and putting Somali even though it's not a race. Just like my other half, El Salvadorian, that's not a race either. Hispanic is not a race. I'm sorry, they don't have a race for every single country out there. It's just, it would be too long of a list. I mean, it'd be nice if they just ask us for ethnicity instead of putting us in a racial category, but it is what it is, unless you're putting down white.
Very well known for they marry children, they don't have women's rights, women can't vote. And when you import a bunch of them into the middle of Minnesota in our country, they're going to do the same thing. They are going to steal. They are going to, it's so crazy that we've done this. They're not going to assimilate. They are just going to find a stronghold of a shared community of values that they have, Somali values in a Western culture, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to cut off female genitalia because 99% of Somali women have done that. Or I guess.
I don't know about that. 99% of Somali women have gotten their genital cut or whatever she said. Let me play that back.
They're going to do the same thing. They're going to cut off female genitalia because 99% of Somali women have done that, or I guess had that done to them.
I don't know, man. Saying 99% is a crazy.
This man was up in a mosque, and he said that black Americans don't know who their daddies are. And I'm like, because he comes from a country where 9-year-olds marry old ass men. Sir, you're a predator. You're a child predator. This is what I'm talking about. And maybe I'm crazy. But why are y'all mad that this administration is doing this type of investigation with newcomers? Because they don't even like you. He gonna say that up in the mosque. And just like, and you know, because black Americans, they're product of one night stands. Sir, I know my daddy, and I'm about to call him and ask him, has he seen this rubbish? Yeah. So I don't understand why black Americans are mad because of this administration doing a proper investigation that they need to be doing in these states and cities like Minnesota. Because how you gonna steal $7 million? You gonna steal $7 million from the government? And the judge threw it out? Who is this judge? How did she do that? What is her husband from? Y'all, I can't. So I'm just trying, you know, if I don't pay my car insurance and I get pulled over, I go to jail because I missed a payment, $200. But you committed, you're fraudulent. I can't even get it out. $7 million. And then they're finding nurses, which they've been finding, with no credentials. Like they stole identities. It's identity theft. So you working on people in the hospital and you're not really you never went to school. And it's a whole bunch of y'all. Now I'm scared to go to the hospital And then we get mad. We get mad when white people be like, because now it's different. White people will be like, the immigrants. And I'm like, okay, I'm not on your side. Why are you telling me that? You know, Indians don't take your jobs, you know. Yeah, and I'll be like, relax. We're not having that conversation. It's weird. But y'all, this stuff is getting wild. That's all I gotta say.
So if you didn't know, I've been in Minnesota for the past week. And I recently dropped the video where I was at the Somali Week football game and a fight broke out. Obviously, I had some critiques to say, but that's my people. So in the comments, there were actually a lot of racist damn people. The hard commentators were talking a lot of nonsense. So I have to silence them. I don't know why you guys are trying to have problems with Somalis. I love Minnesota, actually. So this is actually your worst problem. You guys need to battle this. You don't have this is your worst enemy. Not.
I don't care if I'm the first person to say this, but us Somalis are not black.
Honestly, we don't care. Yes, we don't care because we have a lot of black people in Africa that we need to worry about, not Somalians claiming they are black or they are not black. Yes, we have over 200-something million blacks in Nigeria. We have over 30 million blacks in Ghana, South Africa, Congo, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. All these people, they are all black. So we have a lot of blacks that we are worried about. It's not Somalians claiming they are black or not. We don't care. We don't give a damn. We don't give a fuck. You Somalians being black or not. What does your skin color contribute in Africa's development? Nothing. Do you understand? So for you to be being black or not is your goddamn business. So sit your ass down or clear from the road. Let us pass. We have a lot of black people to worry about. Not Somalia claiming they are not blacks. Do you understand? So thank you that you are not even black. Not 18 million people in Somalia claiming they are not black.
If I asked you the question who the largest immigrant population in the state of Minnesota is, what would your answer be? And if your answer has any Asian, African, or Latin American group, then you're wrong. Because the largest immigrants in the state of Minnesota are the Norwegians. Norwegians came here after Native people were expelled from their land. They were actually incentivized to come here for free and cheap land. So the land that Native people were expelled from was given to Norwegians for very cheap. They were given subsidized housing. They were given ways to earn a living. Like their livelihoods were just improved so much by coming to Minnesota. And I want to link that with some of the newest immigrants that are coming to the state of Minnesota. As you know, for example, the Somalis. Somalis came here obviously as asylum seekers, escaping war and things like that. Somalis were not getting subsidized land that Native people were expelled from. So it's just so interesting to see when the topic comes of people who use government subsidies. It's always linked to non-white immigrants. Norwegians have been here for multiple generations, but they're still immigrants. And not just are they immigrants, but they were given the ultimate prize to become immigrants here. They were given land that were expelled from Native people. Anyways, food for thought.
These attacks against Somali folk in Minnesota are about the creation and maintenance of a white ethno-state in America. That's actually not even an opinion that I have. The Trump administration is telling us that explicitly. They are telling us that when the Department of Homeland Security is explicitly tweeting about remigration, which is a far-right European concept about ethnic cleansing, and they are telling us that when they are welcoming white South Afrikaners, pretending that they are being marginalized in post-apartheid South Africa. Everything that this administration and this country, everything that this country does is about maintaining the power of white people to have privilege and to rule. That includes immigration policies, that includes the boat strikes that they're doing in the Caribbean, that includes the war they're manufacturing consent for in Venezuela, it includes the demonization of DEI policies, right? All of it is about the maintenance of white supremacy. And I don't say any of this to be flippant, right? But I do think that folks often assume that there is a more complex reason that we are seeing seeing and experiencing what we are, and it actually isn't, right? It's just white supremacy, right? And I think that like policy and political folks try to obfuscate that reality, but the reality is that they think that this country is by and for white people, and they want the rest of us to leave. So yesterday it was Haitians in Ohio, today it is Somali folk in Minnesota, and tomorrow it will be some other marginalized immigrant group, right? And they will not be happy until Black and brown folks are eradicated from this country. Because to be clear, this is not just about immigration, right? The people they really want gone is Black American folks, right? They hate that we are not slaves anymore, right? And they will not stop until all of us, Black people, as the final boss, they will not be happy until all of us are gone.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive.
And how exactly are you doing that?
Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation.
I might be willing to consider another fabric.
So not only are we not going anywhere. Oh, come on! Not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
I look at Omar, I don't know, I never met her. All I'm saying that if they're not happy here, they can leave. They can leave, and you know what? I'm sure that there'll be many people.
I love getting comments on my videos, and I read every single one of them. And reading the comments from my last post about defending the Somali community in Minnesota has been bittersweet. The sweetness was from Somali people in the comments thanking me, but please don't thank me. I feel like I'm doing the bare minimum right now, and I just want to continue being angry at what is happening around you. And I understand my position as a white person getting angry for a different ethnic group, and I understand my position in that. I'm trying to be careful in the way that I maneuver this. But also, it feels like white people only listen to other white people in terms of how they should feel about other ethnic minorities. So other white people, listen the fuck up then, if this is what you need to start respecting other people. Because the other half of the comments that I received from that video were horrendous. And I'm not even going to get into the worst of them because I don't think those people are worth saving. They are so bigoted. But the comment I want to address is one that is kind of the centrist liberal take, which is a comment I received a few times that's like, you're LGBT, you're a trans woman, and you're defending a group of people that doesn't respect you. Why even show them that kindness if they're gonna continue to hate you anyways? I'm gonna break it down slowly for you and show you how fucking dumb you are for leaving that comment. And this is the same comment that has been said multiple times to any queer person who showed support for Palestinians. Liberals try to cancel Chapel Roan over this. So let's break it down, and I'm going to use the Somali community in Minnesota as my example here. So first of all, I am not mystified by the Somali community. I have interacted with many Somali people because I've lived in Minneapolis. I live in Minnesota. If you live in Minneapolis and you don't live under a rock, you're gonna run into Somali people. It is their city as much as it is ours. And I worked at a local cafe that was famous for its chai. I've met some Somali people. And so, I could say, they are Americans. They are American people. You can have conversations with them. People are treating them like they're this unreachable foreigner. Like you can never have common ground with them. You can just talk to them. They're pretty chill. And from my personal experience, especially with younger Somalis, they're quite progressive. Especially the Somali girls. Hey y'all are fucking icons. Just like most white children in America will grow up with Christian parents and then at some point can choose to deconstruct their parents' religious beliefs, either choose a more progressive version of those religious beliefs or choose to become agnostic or atheist in the process, so too can Somali children do the same. Like, they have autonomy as human beings, and they are an ethnic group, not a monolith. Not all Somali people are Muslims, and even the ones who are Muslims are still quite progressive. because we live in a very progressive society. Minnesota is a very progressive state, and most of the people who live in Minneapolis are very chill with queer people because we're everywhere there. I will say anecdotally, I have had better experience with Muslims in Minnesota treating me like a human being and also a woman than I have from Christians doing the same. And it's so obvious that people just need to go the fuck outside and interact with other human beings and not get their news on how other ethnic groups act entirely from white people on the news. And all of that to say, regardless of everything, finally, I shall say, I don't need a specific ethnic group to like me specifically in order to advocate for their basic human rights. And if that's something that you need as a qualifier in order to defend the human rights of anybody, there is something incredibly wrong with you. So yeah, that's my response to a lot of the comments that I have gotten from that video. And I will come here once again to say, Minnesotans, protect Somali people around you. They're going to need our protection, especially if...
There's a lot of African Americans, right? They're like so hateful on TikTok. Let me remind you of all the African American. There was a time where police were unaliving a lot of African Americans. But when it comes to the state of Minnesota, the Somali people that you guys spewing so much hate on, let me tell you about what happened during George Floyd. When George Floyd happens, we understood that when you come for one black man, you're coming for all of us. And we stood by them. We raised our voices. There's no way anybody who were among those protesters can say that Somali people were not among them. We were among them. We raised voices. We chanted Black Lives Matter with our chest open wide. So for you all to just come at us like that when we supported, that's insane. That's insane. Oh my God. Stop it.
Tiny piece of the population, some of the most vulnerable people in our country. But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denaturalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is blasted by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, Black Americans from the South, Hmong and Vietnamese, Liberians in East Africa.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Now, I've been saying this for a while, and I'll continue saying it, that every problem you have in the United States of America or in Europe doesn't really attribute to the black people in that country. Now, I've been talking about unity. I've been talking about the brown and black unity. I've been talking about the white community and the black community working together as a recon force. I've been talking about countries in the Middle East and countries in Europe and the United States of America and Africa coming together to work as one. I've been saying that we are human beings and all that matters, it is humanity. And we only have one race, and that's the human race. Now, most of the people have been feeling entitled to be helped by the black community. Now, wait a minute. I'm not here to talk anything negative about the Somalis. They are our good brothers and sisters. And how I wish they open up their eyes today when this deportation is looming and when Donald Trump is after them, to actually figure it out on whatever, on how they're going to live with themselves and the people outside the Somali community. Now, listen to me very carefully. The Somali community, I'm not saying this because I'm negative, but they have not been working with other communities. And even if you go back to the internet, because the internet never forgets, you might see a compilation of videos when Somalis didn't recognize themselves as Africans, neither blacks. And most of the people were looking forward to a time when the Somalis will have a problem and call out the whole world to help them. Now, I'm not jovial, or I'm not here to celebrate the things they're going through in the United States of America today, but I'm here to give them a reminder and to give every other person watching this video a reminder that you don't just need people in the times of a crisis or when you're not doing good. Remember, you always need people in your life. Just as the black community has been calling out the white community, the brown community, Asians, and the Latinos to come together and form a formidable pact that can talk and the government listen. But what has happened over the years? Because it is the black community that has faced segregation, just because it is the black community that has been facing police brutality and harassment, just because it is the black community which failed to be minority, no one has ever cared. And all those who are feeling good, all those who didn't have problems, never listened to the cry of the black community. Now, today we are having a situation where most of the black people are not paying attention to whatever is happening, and they are not listening to whatever is happening to the other side of the world. They are not listening to Somalis crying out. They are not listening to the MAGA supporters who are now crying because of their vote. They are not listening to the MAGA farmers who voted out of hatred and out of anger. They are now listening to themselves and listening to whatever the economy wants them to do. The economy only needs them to be smart and work smarter and harder so that they can achieve their dreams and pay their loans, mortgages, and pay their bills on time. But what are other people doing? They are now crying out to the same black folks. It is not their problem. You people brought this problem for yourselves. I must say this, and out of my own consciousness, that the black community has been asking for unity. No one ever dared to give them unity. We had people like Louis Farrakhan talking about the Arabs, the Middle East joining force with Africans and the foundational black Americans so that they might have a stronger voice and they will be listened to whenever they talked. No one cared about that. Now, watch most of the people today who are now crying out for help. They're crying out for unity with the black community. Why? Because the black community is considered to be the power of resilience in the world. The black people have been so resilient. They have gone through a lot. You remember the Jim Crow laws, which were meant to finish them totally? They were never finished. And today, they're up and strong again. Now, wait a minute. The Somalis have been trashing out the black culture. Most of them have never wanted to be recognized as blacks. In fact, they have denied to be from Africa. However much people talk about being black and all that which comes with it, they have denied. They have recognized themselves as Middle Eastern people and they have recognized themselves as Arabs. How do you help such people? It is now that they need the black voice. It is now that they need the black people to come and help them because they feel that the black people have the experience over time. Black people have been in such situations before when governments, after governments threatened to kick them out. These are people who have been here for 400 years. You can't kick them. You can't just deport them. I know they can revoke citizenship and all that, but where do you deport even if you revoked citizenship for a person who have been in the US for a very long time, for 400 years? They know no any other place. Most of the people in the US came from Europe. US was initially dominated by the Indians. And later on, we have had other groups of people moving to the US. We've had the blacks moving. We have had Northern Islands Irish people moving to the US, including the current president. We've had groups of people moving to the US. And later on, the US has become a land for everyone. However, the Black community has since been attacked on several occasions regarding citizenship and all that. People have been accusing the Black community of crimes, committing crimes, and doing all those sort of crazy things in the US. And guess what? It is not just the Black community that has been doing all this. This has been a trick over time. And the Black community has since adapted to all that is happening in the US. When they were telling other people to unite with them, when the Black Lives Matter movement was being started to advocate for equality and racial integration in the US, who really minded to talk about the same? Who? This is the same scale the Black people are going to use to measure if or to consider helping you or not. And if the same scale was going to be used, you know who is not going to be well. Most of the people who actually are asking for unity today, these people have not been there for the Black community. They have not helped the Black community. So why should they feel entitled to be helped by the same Black community? They have trashed everything the Black community have done in the US. Today, the US is democratic, at least democratic, and it can follow some rule of law just because there have been people on the street. We've had Malcolm X, we've had Martin Luther King, we've had Marcus Garvey, and so many other Black people who have come out to say that we really need justice, we really need democracy, we really need this to be done and that to be done. No one dared to talk. No one dared. They actually criticized them over time. But today, people are here crying for Black help. I have not much to say. Maybe the Black community will sit down, the Black people in the US, the Black people around the world, and listen to you. If they don't listen to you, it is a lesson well to be learned. Thank you and have a great time.